in a lot of ways to these people who were elevating and giving these jobs to these brothers after these legendary coaches are leaving. I don't know how to say this, but somebody might need to be like, yo, thanks, but no thanks, homie. Why we got to get the hardest job you got, bruh? Like, can't you let some white man come in here and take these flames, and then I come take the job after him? You ever think about that? I understand I might sound like an ingrate, but at the same time, I'm looking at what's going on to my brothers, and it's just kind of like I'm glad the contracts are guaranteed, but we would all acknowledge this is not the greatest position for success.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about one of the easiest predictions that I've ever made on this channel, which is that the race hustlers of the mainstream liberal media, the Stephen A. Simps of the world, would go on woke take and boohoo, whine, and cry racism over Jerod Mayo, who happens to be black, getting fired as head coach of the New England Patriots after just one season. Okay, I mean, I predicted that Jerod Mayo would not be successful, that his tenure as head coach would end in a train wreck due to the fact that it was clear he did not have the correct mentality to be a leader of men, okay? Jerod Mayo walked into the door on the first day, the first press conference. This man was talking about racism and diversity and a whole bunch of stuff that, in my opinion, is not productive for winning, okay? And lo and behold, after one disastrous season, being the head coach of the New England Patriots, taking over for Bill Belichick, a legend who I am wishing a lot of success at UNC, okay? I am excited to watch some UNC football games, okay? I'm hoping that we actually become good at football. But anyways, Jerod Mayo, fired, okay? And now the woke sports media, they're boohoo, whining, and crying racism as I predicted, including Stephen A. Smith, who just couldn't help himself but to play the race card. Take a look.
That's what this is about. This is about Mike Vrabel. That's who they wanted. No question about it. And he's a more seasoned, more experienced coach. I don't like this. They call it Black Friday Black Monday rather for a reason. This certainly typifies it. I don't know why it's not called White Monday. Doug Peterson got fired from Jacksonville. He deserved that firing. Jerod Mayo clearly was not given an opportunity, a lengthy enough opportunity, considering what Bill Belichick left him with from a talent perspective, considering the record, considering the way the team performed. He didn't help himself with some of the comments he made, calling the team soft and what have you, and having to retract statements, and we get all of that. But no matter what we can point to, at the end of the day, the folks in New England were turning against Jerod Mayo. We all know this. And I think it has something to do with the fact that Vrabel is available, and that's really what's going on here. They don't want to lose him, especially to a team like the New York Jets. They want to be in the running, and they can't do that with him as the head coach.
A lot of the criticism of Jerod Mayo feels pretty racist. And by the way, I agree with that. I also think if I were running the team, I probably would have fired him. Like, both things can be true. The folks that every time he's mentioned tweet DEI hire are cretins. It also can be true that just objectively weighing the football stuff, the first year from before the year even started to every press conference throughout, a lot of it went really poorly. And I almost feel like some of the, I'm not saying you, KW, but some of the defense of him has almost been, I don't want to be lumped in with these creeps. And so, you know what I mean? So that part, I think, is a messy piece of it. I also think firing a coach that you said 5 years ago you handpicked after one season is almost always irrational unless you are certain you're getting Mike Vrabel, who I think is a home run hire because he is proven.
Yeah, so you see that, you hear that. Criticizing Jerod Mayo is racist, right? Firing Jerod Mayo is racist. Hiring a black head coach to lead a bad team is racist, right? This is why I said this was the easiest prediction that I've ever made, because these people are so predictable. And it's getting boring at this point, right? It's actually boring because you already know what these people are going to say. You already know what they're going to say. Nothing is ever the fault of a black person that's not successful, right? A black person that gets fired, oh, well, it must be because of their skin color, right? Well, you didn't give them enough opportunity. You didn't give them enough chances. As if there's never been a head coach that has been fired after one really, really, really bad season, okay? That has happened, okay? There's also been head coaches who are black that didn't win anything, but they were head coaches for a really, really, really long time. Like, for example, Marvin Lewis, okay? Marvin Lewis led the Cincinnati Bengals for over a decade, and he didn't win anything, okay? He has a damn near 50% record in the regular season, okay, which by definition is mediocre, and he's 0 for 7 in the playoffs. So didn't win a playoff game, but yet he was head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals for 15 years, okay, from 2003 to 2018. Head coach, black, right, was allowed to be extremely mediocre without being fired. But yeah, if you listen to people like Stephen A. Smith and some of the woke analysts in the media, oh, this doesn't happen to black coaches. Black coaches don't get the same chances that white coaches get. Like, for example, listen to Stephen A. talk about Cliff Kingsbury last year, a year ago, okay, in February. He talked about Cliff Kingsbury and the interest around him and how black coaches don't get the same benefits as white coaches because of the relationships that white coaches have. Take a look.
But I am not exaggerating when I say this. Cliff Kingsbury, the now former coach for the Arizona Cardinals, I challenge anybody in football to tell me I'm wrong about this. This man is more known for his relationships with quarterbacks and that fly-ass crib he had during the NFL draft when COVID was going on and we saw where he was. He's more known for that than he is for winning football games. That is a fact. It cannot be disputed, okay? And so when I look at it from that perspective and we talk about things, and I'm going to go here, doggy, we talk about diversity, and we certainly saw black coaches getting hired and all of that other stuff. That's not where I'm going. I'm saying from an historical perspective, we look at a guy like Cliff Kingsbury, and you know what we see as black folks? Oh, see, this is the kind of stuff that don't happen for black folks. So you're in college, right? And you got a good relationship with Kyler Murray. So we got the number 1 overall pick, we Arizona. So we gonna hire you because you ingratiated yourself with a kid in this family and you the right guy for the job. That works out for you with 1 playoff appearance in 4 years, okay? And 1 season and winning record. Now we fast forward years later. Now you're the offensive coordinator. Why you get that job? Because they got the number 2 overall pick, and Caleb Williams is talking about, that's my dog. A puppy. Ain't thrown a damn pass in the National Football League yet. Okay, great, incredible talent, but breath smelling like Similac, wet behind the ears, ain't throw a damn pass in the NFL, but he vouching. Oh, that's my dog. That's my dog right there. And you get the offensive coordinator's job. It doesn't seem to me like there are bona fide football reasons as to why Cliff Kingsbury is the new offensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders. You couldn't produce but so much in college. You damn sure didn't do it in the pros, but somehow, some way, job opportunities come your way. As the great Don King once said, only in America, baby. Only in America.
Wow. Somebody please inform Stephen A. Smith on how Jerod Mayo got his job, right? Because Jerod Mayo only got his job due to the fact that he had a strong relationship with the New England Patriots. That's the only reason he got the job. He didn't get the job because he has a strong track record of proving that he could be a winning head coach or even a good coordinator in the NFL, right? He did not have the pedigree that coaches typically have before becoming head coaches in the NFL. But he got the job anyways based off relationships. And here you have race baiting ass Stephen A. talk about, this only happens for white guys, right? It never happens for black folks. Well, you got clear-cut examples in the league of it actually happening for black people, black coaches benefiting from their network, relationships, getting jobs that, hey, they really didn't earn based off a proven track record of being a good head coach. But again, if you listen to Stephen A, it never happens, right? If you listen to Stephen A, black people, they never get the benefit of the doubt. They don't ever get a long leash like the white coaches. When you have clear-cut examples of this happening, not only in the NFL, I just pointed out one with Marvin Lewis, but look at the NBA. Doc Rivers, he hasn't won anything since 2008. He keeps getting jobs, right? Why does he keep getting jobs? Well, probably because he's a decent coach. And also on top of that, because of his network, right? Because of the relationships that he has. everybody takes advantage of that, right? Everybody benefits from the relationships that they build. That's just a part of the job, right? That's a part of any job in corporate America or anywhere in this country. Really, yeah, relationships matter, okay? And if you're black and you build relationships and people like you, yeah, you're going to get opportunities that, hey, maybe you're not the most qualified for, but you're going to get them anyways because you have a strong relationship. It is what it is, okay? It is what it is. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it happens for everybody. It doesn't have anything to do with race. It doesn't have anything to do with skin color. But these people can't help themselves. Everything for these people, it has to be about skin color and race. That's the only way they can analyze anything at all. When that's not what it's about. It's not what it's about. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's about winning and losing. And sometimes, yes, it's about relationships, but it ain't really got nothing to do with their skin color. Because good owners want to win, right? So when you perform poorly, black or white, hey, you're at risk of being fired. And even if you perform well, you may be at risk of being fired if you don't perform well enough. Ask Jim Caldwell when he coached the Detroit Lions. He ended up getting fired. Which, you know, they were boo-hooing and crying racism about that. But it happens, right? It happens. It is what it is. But hey, I figured out Stephen A. Smith's game a long time ago. I will never forget when he got pissed off at Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving for vouching for Steve Nash to be the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. Okay. And that meant that they would pass over a black head coach. And he started getting so upset because he was being told by the woke revolutionaries, the pro-blackity blacks, and some of these NBA players that, hey, he needs to come out here and to vouch for black coaches, right? He was told by his handlers, these pro-black handlers, that you better go out there and you better vouch for these black head coaches. You better be boo-hoo-whine and cry racism when they don't get hired, just for the NBA players themselves to not vouch for a black head coach when it comes time for them to decide who is going to lead their team.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's no way around this. This is white privilege. This does not happen for a black man. No experience whatsoever on any level as a coach, and you get the Brooklyn Nets job. I know that Kyrie and KD have both signed off on this. I know they both support this move. But I'm thinking about a champion that is Ty Lue, passed up. I'm thinking about a guy who built the foundation for the Golden State Warriors in Mark Jackson, passed up. I'm thinking about the years that Sam Cassell has served as an assistant, first in the nation's capital in D.C., and now with the Los Angeles Clippers, passed up. Emanating from the black community and disenfranchised communities is that proverbial glass ceiling and the fact that it breeds a level of frustration that we can't even put in the words sometimes. You just want to scream to the high heavens. How the hell does this always happen for somebody else other than us? Why is it that we have to be twice as good to get half as much? Why is it that no matter what we do and how hard we work and how we go through the process and the terrain of everything, somehow, some way, there's another excuse to ignore that criteria, to ignore those credentials, and instead bypass it and make an exception to the rule for someone other than us. So I'm depressed right now because I have to bring that up. The fact of the matter is, when it comes to Steve Nash and to a lesser degree Steve Kerr, the bottom line is that those kind of opportunities don't happen for black people. I said it before. I've been saying it for years. I'm going to continue to say it. And the real person that I'm pointing the finger at are the two stars on the Brooklyn Nets, because I'm thinking about the process. Maybe they did have a diverse slew of candidates that they talked to or whatever. We didn't hear about it. We don't know about it. But bottom line is, when you are an African American, particularly in the world of professional sports, and we see the numbers dwindling right now in a league that's nearly 80% black, there's 4 black head coaches. 2 of them got fired, Nate McMillan and Alvin Gentry, already since the bubble took place. And so when you look at it from that perspective and you see the dwindling numbers and you see the advent of analytics and how African Americans ain't necessarily being hired for those positions or to become head coaches under that system, the bottom line is that the numbers are dwindling before our very eyes, and the black players don't seem to be saying anything about it. They damn sure don't seem to be doing anything about it. Somebody has to, so I'm doing it.
Right? And Stephen A. Smith got so pissed off about that. I'll never forget it, right? That's when I figured out who Stephen A. was. This man is constantly always looking for the approval of the so-called pro-blacks. And that's why he has to come out here in the boohoo whining crowd racism and to make it seem like that he's looking out for the brothers, right? Because they will quickly throw him under the bus. They will quickly disinvite him from the cookout. They will strip his black card. And he comes out here and he says anything that goes against the pro-black narrative, right? We saw that happen when he had a decent take on Colin Kaepernick. When he was telling the truth about Colin Kaepernick, they were lighting Stephen A. up, okay? And since then, Stephen A. has turned up his race hustling to a whole nother level because he cares way too much about what these woke revolutionaries and these so-called pro-blacks, aka pro-democrats, really think about him, right? And that's essentially what's happening here, right? Stephen A. is trying to show that, hey, I'm pro-black, right? I'm up here boohoo whining crying racism, so therefore I'm with the brothers, right? I keep inviting me to the cookout, right? I don't want my black card stripped. Look at me, right? Vouching for black head coaches. But you know, hey, to normal people who don't care about any of that stuff, he just sounds like an idiot, right? He just sounds like an idiot when he's pulling a race card over a bad coach being fired. Right? It's just silly. It really is. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.